Good, y'all. Welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host, Sam. This week is Seattle week, man. This is the biggest week of the year. And we're bringing it to you with pregame analysis. And for this pregame analysis, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Rohit. How you doing, Rohit?
Hey, doing all right. How about you, man?
I mean, I'm kind of nervous as hell. Big ass week. Got to get this done. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the game. Got to get going.
I mean,
it's
the biggest week every year in the 49er season. Seattle week.
Seattle week, always the biggest week of the year. So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the Niners clap today.
I hope so, man.
It's going to be a very interesting game. So we shall see how it goes. But guys, before I get into it, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. My Instagram's at NinerWire_YT. I forgot to do the Rohit banner. But anyways, follow him on Twitter at RohitKanan71. That's your Instagram too. Is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. My apologies for not doing the banner. I'll make sure to get it at the end of the video when you're talking. But anyways, guys, make sure to follow Rohit there too. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns that you want us to answer during the video, make sure to leave them in the live chat. I already see we got a few comments from some guys. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So do you have any opening thoughts before we start this? Other than that, this is the biggest week of the year because, I mean, it's kind of obvious how big this week is and how it's always the biggest week of the year, hands down.
I mean, if there's one thing, if we win today, we are half a game behind first place in the NFC West. So it's not just that it's Seattle week, but for a team that was considered like down and out just 2 weeks ago, today we have a chance to be half a game back for the division lead. So there's so much riding on this game.
Yeah, I mean, people were talking about last week when Seattle lost to Arizona. People were rooting for Seattle to win because it's like you get that better spot. We can beat Seattle today and be one game behind. Has Seattle have their bye yet? I forget.
No. Yes, they have had their bye.
They did have their bye. So we're going to be a half game. If we win this game, we're going to be 5-3. They're going to be 5-2. So we're going to be a half game behind if we win this game. Man.
And we have head-to-head over them.
And we'll have head-to-head over them. And we'll Arizona's on the bye. So Arizona will be in first, I believe, because they'll have head-to-head at 5-2.
They're 5-2.
And the Rams are getting blown out right now. So this game means so much to us. Right now we're in the bottom of the league and in the division. We can get a step up right there, man. It's a huge game for us. And I know Danny right here says we got a short week, man. I mean, they're definitely looking ahead to the Green Bay game, but obviously you got to focus on this game, get it done. I mean, Green Bay's killing it right now, but look at Seattle, man.
Actually, no, they're getting destroyed.
They're getting destroyed, but I know right now, but throughout the season they've been killing it.
Oh yeah, they've been killing it.
Yeah. But we own that franchise, so I mean, I'm not too concerned about that. So,
but even then, here's the thing: it's any game. Green Bay's rolling, but that's not what we're here to talk about right now.
We're here, yeah, exactly. We are here to talk about the Niners and the Seahawks, the biggest matchup of the year for the San Francisco 49ers. So let's just start off with the offensive key of the game, as we usually do. And I gotta say, for this stream, I don't have too many notes. Surprisingly, I feel like there's so many things the little things to pick out for the Niners keys to the games. Like you could really say anything. And both of my offense and defense keys, I'll say them at different times, but they both have one key theme, and that's capitalizing on the injuries because Seattle this week has a lot of injuries. They have their top 2 running backs are out. Their top 2 players in the secondary are out. So the Niners definitely got to capitalize on those injuries. As for the offense, my key to the game is pass protection because obviously, as I said, no Shaq Griffin, no Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams rushes the pass a lot or just rushes a lot, whether it's run, pass, you name it. They use him in a lot of those situations. And,
even with their current safety, they still have a lot of like safety blitzes.
They have a lot of safety blitzes, but Jamal Adams is hands down the best of that in the NFL.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I think it's just really just capitalizing on that protection. You've got it. That losing Jamal Adams, you're losing an assignment that you have to block. They don't have to worry as much about the other safety who's blitzing, whoever that is. I haven't looked at the Seahawks depth chart. But yeah, and then with Shaq Griffin out, you're gonna have to pass a lot. You could pass a lot to Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuel's gonna be out, so Kendrick Bourne. You might see those guys a lot going up against Shaq Griffin today. And then and I say pass protection because Seahawks pass rush isn't that great. So I mean, I think you could say passing game, but I want to highlight the pass protection because as I say, protection is always the key. Protection and pressure are always the key to winning. You got to build through those trenches. And
yeah, you win and lose your games in the trenches.
Exactly. And I think pass protection is going to be huge today because you still got guys on the Seattle team. Like one of the guys who's making the biggest impact on that defense is a guy who was on the 49ers last year in Demontre Moore. And I think that's going to be a very interesting guy to watch because he might know this Niners system really well. He might be able to capitalize on the opportunities that he gets against a guy probably going to be going against Trent Williams today. Yes, he's new to the Niners system, Trent Williams is, but still, it's the Niners system, which Demontre Moore knows pretty well. So I think pass protection is right there. That is my key to the game for the offense. What you got, Roth?
I think my key to the game for the offense is really controlling the clock. I want to see the Niners run the ball like they did last week, just have like the quick passes down the middle, maybe attack the outside every now and again. I mean, we saw Jimmy Garoppolo do it a few times last week. Especially to that 1/3 of Brandon Ayuk. I want to say, what was it, the third quarter, or was it like the end of the second?
So is this the deep play to Ayuk?
Yeah, like the 30-yard, like the 35-yard.
Oh, I think that was third. That was third.
Okay,
that was after the pick.
Yeah.
So
like similar shots to that, but like a lot of it's just like controlling the clock, controlling the tempo, make Seattle play to what you want them to play, and just control the game from there. Because that helps with keeping Russell Wilson off the field, because that offense is terrifying.
Exactly. I mean, just keep the ball moving. That's always a key I've said that key so many times for every team, for a lot of teams that have played the Niners this year. I forget which streams I said it on, but just keeping the ball moving, especially with a weak D, like a depleted D, keeping the ball moving is a crucial thing you have to do. So if the Niners just keep the ball moving, attacking the outsides and the middle, as you talked about, the Seahawks linebacker core is pretty good still. So the middles might be a bit harder, but the outsides, I definitely think you have a chance with. I mean, it's going to be Quinn Dunbar, and if I pull up their depth chart,
isn't it Quandre Diggs on the other side?
Quandre Diggs is a safety. Who's the starting lineup today in the secondary should be so Ryan Neal and Jason Stan. Oh no, sorry. Ryan Neal and Trey Flowers should be the starting cornerbacks today. Oh wait, sorry, no, Ryan Neal, sorry. I keep getting that confused. Ryan Neal should be replacing Jamal Adams. Trey Flowers should be replacing Shaq Griffin. So the starting secondary is going to be at cornerback Quinn Dunbar and Trey Flowers.
Actually, Shaq Griffin's out.
Yeah, I know Shaq Griffin's out. I was saying he's replacing Shaq Griffin.
So, I thought you didn't say that. My bad.
Yeah, no. So Trey Flowers and Quinn Dunbar starting at cornerback. Starting safety is going to be Quandre Diggs and Ryan Neal, who I haven't heard much about Ryan Neal. So we'll see. I also think DJ Reed got activated off of IR. That might be very interesting to see. Former Niner on that team. He is close to being on. He was close to be on my fucking awful 5. It could have been the shitty 6. That's a good one. if I had in mind, it would be the shitty 6. So yeah, but those who we're going to be going up against today on the outside. Middle, you got Bobby Wagner. Speaking of Bobby Wagner, I want to hear Bobby Wagner or Fred Warner. I've seen this debate so much throughout the week.
Oh, it's all over Twitter, and honestly,
it's all over.
I mean, here's the thing. Last year, Bobby Wagner was great. So was Fred Warner, and in my opinion, Fred Warner's even better last year than Bobby Wagner was. But I think Wagner got the All-Pro nod because, name recognition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people try to use the fact that the 49ers defense was stacked as an argument against Fred Warner, which is just like...
And they did that against Eric Armstead, too, last year.
Yeah, and now you look at this year, Fred Warner's been balling out. He literally has the best coverage stats of any linebacker in football. He's a sure tackler. He already has 2 interceptions. Dude's doing it all.
For real, man.
I don't see how there's an argument for you to say that Bobby Wagner is better than Fred Warner, especially this year. Don't get me wrong, Bobby Wagner is great, but this year, especially this year, Fred Warner is hands down playing better than Bobby Wagner.
I mean, yeah, you said it perfectly, man. I mean, he has been killing it. And I think a lot of people say, oh, I won't judge based off their first few games. It's week 8 now. Come on. you can definitely judge by their first 7 or 8 games who's the better quarterback. There's a reason why I haven't actually done this, but I would be perfectly fine taking down my Jimmy G as the top 12 quarterback video because it's simple. He's simply not a top 12 quarterback anymore. It's that simple. He's probably like maybe fringe top 15, maybe like definitely top 20 for sure. But 15 through 20 range is probably where we're looking at Jimmy G based on how he's been playing this year. It changes. It has to change at some point. The rankings always are changing. I mean, is Marshawn Lynch still the best running back in football? No, because he's not even in the league
in the NFL this year.
No, he's not. I'm just saying, like people, like you gotta change your opinions on stuff, man. So, yeah, for real. All right, you got anything else for the offense?
I mean, not really. No.
Yeah,
but Jimmy Garoppolo better be on his A game, though. That's all I got to say. Better
be on the A game. It's so hard, as I said, like just pinpoint the keys. So you could go with what Rohit said, like attack the outsides. You could go with what I said, pass protection. Run game is also going to be key today. Literally everything on the offense. Also, like I think you started. I thought you said attack the outsides. I meant just keeping the ball moving. There's so much that you could pick for the offense today, and there's so much you can pick for the defense today too. And speaking of the defense, as I talked about like all the injuries. You got to capitalize on those injuries if you're the 49ers. And I had that right here with the pass defense. That is my key to the game because no Chris Carson, no Carlos Hyde. The main guy is probably going to be DJ Dallas because I believe Travis Homer was questionable coming into the game. He's going to be active. I don't expect them to use him that much considering that he was not active. But yeah, I think pass D because you got the running game locked up. If those are the guys you're going against, you can easily lock them up. I mean, the run game didn't do much against us last year either. So the pass D is what you really have to focus on. And this is really crucial for every Seahawks game, whether or not the running backs are playing, because DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, you can say that they are arguably the best 1-2 punch in the NFL for the receivers. So you got to just lock those guys up. It's that simple. And you're going to have Mosley out there, Verrett out there. I believe K'Wan Williams is still on IR. Is that correct?
No, I think K'Wan Williams is active. I think he's playing.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. So that's a huge upgrade for us then. Wait. Oh yeah, because he sprained his foot again. He got that sprain against Philly, the ACL sprain against Philly. So for some reason I thought it was Miami wasn't 6 weeks yet. But yeah, just past D. You really got to get that lock down those guys. I mean, it's that simple because they're gonna pass the ball a lot, and they've been killing off defenses with that pass game. So if we can somehow stop their passing game, we're for sure gonna win this game.
Yeah, I mean, my key for the defense is it's related to the passing game, but more one guy, which is Russell Wilson, aka the guy who has been tormenting the Niners since 2012. And it's just like. If one thing that Arizona did against Seattle last week that was really impressive was that they were disciplined in their pass rush lanes and didn't really give Wilson much room to run. Whatever room to run that Wilson had, he manufactured for himself. It wasn't given to him. So if we stay in our pass rushing lanes, odds are we'll actually turn some of those pressures into sacks. But what it also does is that Wilson has to manufacture that room for himself rather than it just being given to him, which is something we struggled with mobile quarterbacks last year and so far through this year is that we're not really staying in those pass rush lanes. So quarterbacks are really just given running lanes to just run through if the secondary is actually if secondary is doing a good job of covering people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm going to touch on that in the Seahawks offensive key a little bit, but. Usually I would say that against every single mobile quarterback that you have, just stop them. Last time I put it in my notes and I said, put this and say this is an all caps on stream. Stop Cam Newton, and we did that. And now we definitely have to stop Russell Wilson. If the running backs weren't hurt, that would hands down be my key to the game without a doubt. So again, kind of building on my point earlier, there's so many keys for this team that this team has to execute on in order to win. This is going to be a tough game. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I feel like the easiest way to say it is that, like, whenever the Niners play Seattle, everything has to be absolutely perfect. You got to be on your A game on every single facet of football.
Beating the Seahawks, it's so hard to do that. We almost did it again in Week 10. Missed a field goal, cost us the game. The receivers were also terrible that game, but that's who I'm blaming the game on, our receivers right there. And then, I mean, 2 years ago against Seattle, we beat Seattle 2018 with Nick Mullins. That's where you talk about perfection. And 2 weeks before, we just completely fell flat. So, I mean, yeah, it's always got to be perfect on both sides of the ball, especially on the defensive side. When you got that offense, you got Russell Wilson, you got DK Metcalf, you got Tyler Lockett. I mean, yeah, you just got to execute everywhere on that defense. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, anything else to say about defense?
No.
Not much. All right, this stream is moving quickly, so glad we're on the same terms. Again, like it's so hard to just pinpoint everything. I keep saying that a lot. Like, kind of building off our point. This game's got to be perfect on both sides of the ball. Seahawks, not so much though. I think they can get away with a few mistakes, like they have done in the past against us, and still come out on top. So let's start off
mostly because of how high-powered their offense is and the fact that as of right now, they have the best quarterback in all of football.
Exactly.
And probably the league MVP.
Exactly. I mean, you got to step it up if you're going against a guy like Russell Wilson. So, yeah. All right. My Seahawks offense key to the game, kind of building on your point about just stopping Russell Wilson, get Russ out of the pocket because that is how Russ cooks against the 49ers. It's that simple. I mean, the Niners struggle with mobile quarterbacks. We all know that. Don't just look at the New England game and say, wow, we stopped Cam Newton. We're so good against mobile quarterbacks. No, you can't say that at all. Russell Wilson is a mobile quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the league. He's always going to be hard to stop for this team. So you have to do that. Stop him right there. That's my Seahawks offensive key. Just getting him out of the pocket. Because let's be real. When a quarterback's in the pocket like Cam Newton was, they do dog shit. And then when they're out of the pocket, it's a whole different game. So stopping Russ, that has to be the key to the game for the Seattle offense, in my opinion.
For the Seattle offense, it's literally, as you said, like get Russ going, get Russ into a flow, and like have him actually start like throwing. But it's just like that's all they really have to do because their offense, I mean, even when Russ is off his game, that offense is still amazing. But if Russell Wilson's on song, I don't think there's literally any defense that can even attempt to stop him.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Trying to see. So it looks like they may start DJ Reed. So it looks like DJ Reed could be is going to be the nickel today for the Seattle Seahawks. So that's going to be very interesting to see. DJ Reed going against the Niners. Hopefully he plays like he did when he was a 49er. Let's just pray to God that happens because he was terrible. This is where I want DJ Reed to fail. I've always this is where I get to laugh at DJ Reed, man. I mean, usually it's just been like, oh, come on, man. It's classic DJ Reed. Hopefully that carries on today. So that's going to be very interesting to see. The other thing I was trying to bring up, let me just read off the 49ers inactives real quick. So CJ Beathard, Deebo Samuel, Richie James, Quan Alexander, Jaquiski Tartt, Ken Webster. So 4 injured guys, 1 quarterback, and 1 cornerback. So
Richie James is inactive.
Well, I thought he got hurt, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
He did. He got hurt against he did something. I forget who he did. He definitely got hurt against New England. I remember it because they took him out. I forget what it was. It might have been a hamstring, might have been a knee. It was a leg injury. So we'll have to see what happened there. Maybe an ankle. I don't know, but I'm not surprised that he's inactive. Kick returner today, probably going to be. I don't know, man. That's tough because let's. I want to bring up Ovio Bosa's comment. River Craycraft. I talked to this about Rohit before the stream started. I do think he's going to play some sort of role today. Trent Taylor has been struggling, and they brought up River Craycraft, who can play slot receiver instead of Kevin White, that tells me that something's wrong with Trent Taylor and River Craycraft. They want him to step into that position for Trent Taylor. So it's hard for me. Kind of going back to the kickoff point. It's kind of hard for me to see Trent Taylor do kickoffs. Maybe you give it to Dante Pettis today. I don't know who you give kickoffs to. That's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. Also, did we ever find out? I know I've been asking this on Twitter a lot. I now know if you saw. Did we ever find out why Robbie Gould was doing kickoffs instead of Mitch Wishnowsky?
I don't actually think we did.
Yeah, I mean, that was really surprising because, I mean, you definitely saw how much worse Robbie Gold is at kickoffs than Mitch Wisnowski. So, yeah, but River Craycraft, spoiler, I do have him as one of my key players of the game. I do think he's going to play some sort of role here. Might not be a big one, but I do think he's here for a reason. And it wasn't because of his talent. It was because something with Trent Taylor. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, you got anything else? Or go ahead.
But the more that I think about it, I think River Craycraft is going to be the kick returning guy because that's what he did with Denver in his rookie season in 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
And then his second year in 2018, he was actually doing some kick returns for Denver. So that might be a reason why we brought up Craycraft because Richie James is out, who would normally be a return guy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good to know because, I mean, yeah, I didn't really know much about River Craycraft before.
I literally just looked up his Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't think anyone really knows who River Craycraft is, but yeah, I do think he's going to play some sort of a role today, whether it's kickoff returns, whether it's being the slot guy. We will have to see our receivers. So our receivers today, let's just recap this. It's going to be Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, Craycraft, Taylor, Pettis. That's it.
Wait, who's our sixth?
It's usually Richie James or Debo.
Ah, shit.
So I think we're going to go with I think we're rolling with 5 receivers today. If I look at the 49ers, I usually know this off the top of my head. I guess I don't know. But I mean there's just been so many injuries to this team. That's really why. So okay, so
it just feels like people are coming in and out, and when they come back in, they're injured again.
Okay, so Taylor, Craycraft, Ayuk, Bourne, Pettis. So that's 5 receivers. Tight ends, we're going to have 3, Kittle, Dwelly, Warner. Yeah, those are basically our receiving options. And then running back, you're going to have Tevin Coleman, JaMychal Hasty, Jerick McKinnon. It's another thing we didn't talk about this yet. What role is Tevin Coleman going to play today? That's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. Activated off IR last minute. Everyone kind of had Hasty being the guy. Could it be Coleman? I mean, last week I was saying Hasty's going to be the guy. McKinnon's going to be the guy. It was Jeff Wilson. I mean, it's hard. It's always hard to predict like who's going to do well, and that's why for fantasy
especially
I
on
always
this
avoid
49ers team when it's just like anybody can run the ball and everybody will run through you.
Exactly, and no Mostert, so it's always hard. Usually when Mostert's there, it's easy to tell who's going to be the alpha there. But
and the running game is just so much better with him out there.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, it's crazy how Mostert's one of the most underrated backs in the league. Let's be real. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who steps in that role because I feel like it changes every week. And that's why I was like telling people at the beginning of fantasy season, avoid every 49ers running back because there could be some shit that happens where somebody takes the lead back role. I mean, I don't even know. So, yeah.
I mean, a word of advice for anybody who's doing fantasy, the only 49ers players you should even think about drafting in fantasy are Kittle and then the Niners defense. Don't really bother with anybody else because because his team spreads the ball around so much that it's like other than Kittle, you don't know like who's really going to get the ball at like a high volume.
That's fair. I mean, I had high hopes on Debo this year, and yes, he's been hurt, but I mean, we just use him so much.
But when he's been in the team, he's been great.
Oh, for sure. So I mean, like I think in my fantasy rankings, I had Debo as like my wide receiver 15, where most people had him near 30. So. Yeah, I definitely have high hopes on Debo this year for fantasy. Obviously, he hasn't been playing out as much because of the injuries, but yeah, speaking of fantasy, Joel, if you are watching this, you are so welcome for how bad my team is doing. I think I have 2 guys with 0 points right now, Marquise Brown, Kenny Galladay. I have 27 total points. Did Landry, what happened? Oh, Colts got a pick 6. Thank God. That helps. So now my Colts D has 17 points. Yeah, this team is terrible, man. I mean, his team's not doing well, but I have Ingram, Justin Jackson, Ronald Jones, Tom Brady left.
So it's not that his team is doing better, it's just that your team is doing worse.
My team is doing so bad right now. I mean, I have 2 guys with 0 points. My bench isn't doing much better. I mean, my bench isn't doing well either. So, I mean, this team, man. This team kind of kills me. I started off 3-0. Now I've lost 4 straight. Probably going to lose 5. So it's looking bad. But all right, back to this game. You have anything else to comment about on about on the Seattle offense?
About the Seattle offense?
Yeah, I thought that was what we were just talking about before,
Before the whole running back thing. Okay.
Yeah, we were just doing Seahawks keys the game, and then we were yeah.
I mean, there's really not much to say about the Seahawks offense other than what we've already said, which is just Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's that simple. Just Russell Wilson. I mean, the offense runs through him. It's that simple. So you got to stop him whenever you're playing the Seahawks. So yeah. All right, Seahawks defensive key of the game. I'm gonna let you start with this one, Rohit. What you got?
Get pressure. Generate pressure. Because the Niners have been doing best with a clean pocket. I mean, yes, that kind of sounds obvious. Most, if not all, players do better with a clean pocket. But especially with the 49ers, especially with what they've had to deal with earlier this season, having the clean pocket or a lack thereof has made a world of a difference for how this team performs. We saw it in week 1. They were generating pressure. Arizona was generating pressure. Garoppolo wasn't looking great. We lost. The Miami game, that was god-awful. We lost. Philadelphia, pressure all around. We lost. I mean, and then we go to the Rams games and the Patriots games. There weren't many pressures at all. And we won. And we won quite convincingly. So the point is for Seattle is get pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. And if you have to blitz, then blitz. If you have to pull some stunts, maybe put an extra defensive lineman, go with a 5-2 set rather than a 4-3 or something. Like, do what you have to do. Try and get pressure.
Absolutely.
Like, that's really it.
Great minds think alike. That's my key too. So, I mean, you said it perfectly. As I've said, throughout this episode, pressure. The defense starts with pressure. You have to have pressure to win the game. If you're not pressuring, then nothing's going to go right. And the Seahawks pressure hasn't been that good this year. So at some time they got to step it up. I think now is the perfect time to do that. And probably let's be real. This is probably their biggest game of the year too. Probably week 17 is going to be bigger for them because it's in San Francisco, but still, man, you got to defend home turf, especially after what happened last year. I mean, they're going to want to win this game so badly, man. So I think pressure, I mean, yeah.
Both teams are going to come in determined and angry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you win games are won in the trenches. So pressure. That's the Seattle defense key of the game. Also, one thing I should also point out, kind of just going off my point for the I said Niners needed pass protection. I said pass offense. Their passing game was a key. So capitalizing on those injuries with Jamal Adams and Shaq Griffin, those are going to be huge to do today. And pressure also helps that out because, I mean, if you can pressure, they're not going to throw the ball. So, yeah, pressure is really going to be the driving force of their defense.
But one thing I've noticed about Seattle this entire season is that they're not really generating pressure with 3-man or 4-man rushes like they used to be able to do in the past. Let's forget the Legion of Boom years. Even after the Legion of Boom, maybe even as early as 2018, from 2015 to 2018, they were able to consistently generate pressure with 3- and 4-man rushes. Since 2018, they haven't really been able to do that, and the only way they've been able to generate pressure is by blitzing or some other stunt, which compromises their defense as much as it also helps them.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to watch out for is how aggressive does Seattle want to play this 49ers offense, which is an offense known for so much misdirection, so much quick hitting plays. So it's just how aggressive will Seattle play this? And I think that's going to be the real chess match to watch is, in reality, Seattle's defensive coordinator plus Pete Carroll versus Kyle Shanahan as to defensive schemes, blitzes, stunts, looks, whatever you want to look at, and then Kyle Shanahan and how he's gonna counter that.
Absolutely. I mean, they're gonna come out aggressive. They're gonna come out hot. They're gonna want to come out. They're just gonna have all the guns loaded, ready to fire at the 49ers offense. So this defense, it's gonna be a very interesting game because I feel like the Seattle defense. I mean, there's a reason all their games have been so close this year. The Seattle defense has not stepped up at all. I said going into the year, Seattle has the best secondary in football. They have shat the bed in their secondary. And then with just their front seven, I said their front seven, not that great. It isn't that great. So the Seattle defense is what's killing them right now, what's making all these games close. So I think you definitely, it's that simple. Like they're you have to fire all the guns today. Give it everything you got if you want to win this game, because you know for sure an offensive guru like Kyle Shanahan is gonna pull out all the guns on your defense as well. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a very interesting matchup to see today. Seahawks offense, 49ers offense versus Seahawks defense, excuse me. So yeah, you got anything else about that?
I mean, if last week's game against the Patriots was a chess match between Belichick and Kyle Shanahan, then this week is I forget which movie this was, but I think it's one of the original trilogy movies. You know the one near the volcano where Anakin loses his arm and leg? It's basically that fight, except it's Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan. That's basically what this game is.
Oh, wait. Oh, is this for which one? What series is this?
Star Wars. I think it's one of the original trilogy.
Okay, because I was like, you just said in the trilogy. I was like, what trilogy are you talking about?
Yeah, the original trilogy.
Yeah, the original Star Wars. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
No, yeah, episode 3. That's the one. Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Yeah, it's totally like that.
Because there's so much riding on this game. It's just like, I mean.
This game is always like some of the most intense games of the year. By the way, I don't think this game is I think the Saints-Bears game is being placed as the best game for Fox, which is that's just shocking to me.
It's so dumb. I'm just like, how? I mean, here's the thing. It's Niners-Seahawks, probably the most intense rivalry in all of football since 2010.
Yeah,
and yet it's Saints-Bears?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's weird because I'm looking at the TV map right now. Anywhere west of Colorado is getting the Niners-Seahawks game. Anywhere east of that, and then Norfolk, Virginia, and Burlington, besides Norfolk, Virginia, and Burlington, Vermont, all have Bears-Saints. That's just surprising me. That just shocks me right there. So
yeah. So my room is gonna be I'm taking the big screen TV because he's a Saints fan.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going to be watching the game? I forgot about that.
My dorm room, so I'll just be trying to find a stream or something.
You just try to find a stream guy on your laptop. So,
yeah,
we'll have to see how it goes. But, yeah, it's surprising that game's not the number one game. So, yeah. All right, let's get into key players. I don't really have much to say about this because, I mean, literally you can just say everyone's a key player. So, I'll just highlight a few that you could watch today. Tevin Coleman, going to be very interesting to see what he does in the run game, how they use him. Same with Brandon Ayuk. I think they're going to use him a lot with no Deebo Samuel there today. I think Ayuk is going to be a key guy in the 49ers receiving game and in the rushing game too. So going to be very interesting to see what happens with Brandon Ayuk. River Craycraft, as I said before, I mean, I don't think they're going to use him much, but I would not be surprised if they use him in big ways today. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with River Craycraft. Bit of a bold prediction, but yeah. All right, entire offensive line. Do I need to say any more? I said pass protection was our key to the game. Seahawks need to get pressure. So, yeah, our entire offensive line has to step it up today. On the defensive side, I'm going to go with Fred Warner. Going to be a big part in stopping that run game, even though it's pretty weak. Fred Warner, again, all over the place, man. He's always all over the place. So you can see him in a lot of places. And then the cornerbacks, just stopping the pass D. It's going to be very crucial for them to do that. So, yeah, those are my 49ers key players to the game.
I mean, for me, on offense, Jimmy Garoppolo, because here's the thing. Whenever Jimmy is on his A game, we win. And there is no game where we need Garoppolo on his A game more than this game. So Jimmy really has to step up. I mean, he's been solid the past few weeks, but we need him to take that to a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've seen him do it before. But we need him to do it today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My other offensive key player of the game, definitely the entire offensive line, because you win, you lose in the trenches.
Exactly.
On defense, I got three specific ones. Obviously, Fred Warner, because he's always all over the place. Mm-hmm. But especially with Russell Wilson and his tendency to run, in case he does, Fred Warner has to be just like looking at him the entire way, be like, you're not getting past me. Mm-hmm. So Wilson, in terms of the cornerbacks, K'Wan Williams, who's coming back off an injury.
Coming back. I didn't mention him. That's going to be a huge one today.
So it's going to be interesting how he lines up and who he lines up against, because that's going to be a matchup to watch. And then in terms of of safeties, I think Tarvarius Moore should be getting the nod again as a starter. Mm-hmm. So I want to see if he can repeat his performance that he had against New England last week. And it's going to be important because Seattle loves to throw vertical. Mm-hmm. And taking away those vertical routes is what our safeties need to be able to do. So I want to see if Tarvarius Moore can handle that.
Yeah, you mentioned Tarvarius Moore, and I said last week, if he keeps balling out, I would not be surprised if he takes Jimmy Ward's spot. And usually, like, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's just recency bias. Let's look at it this way. Tarvarius Moore was supposed to be the starting free safety 2019. That's when Jimmy Ward really stepped it up. Jimmy Ward has been struggling this year. Now he's out with an injury. Tarvarius Moore, they put more and more trust in him. He got a pick in the Super Bowl. He balled out last week. I would not be surprised if they put a lot of trust in him.
I thought that was Marcel Harris.
No, it was Tarvarius Moore that got the pick.
Gotcha.
It was Warner and Moore. But yeah, I would not be surprised if they put him in a bigger role for this team. Maybe getting rid of that contract that why am I blanking out on the name? Jimmy Ward has. So yeah, for sure. All right, before we move into defense, you want to hear a crazy stat?
What's up?
All right, Patrick Mahomes, 5 passing touchdowns a day.
The Jets I just saw that. The entire Jets team,
touchdowns all season, 4. That just shows you how bad the New York Jets are. What's even the score of that game? It is 28-9. Wait, what? How is that possible? How can it be 20?
It's 35-9. I think yours is behind.
35? Okay. My fantasy cast isn't updating, I guess, but yeah, all right. But anyways, yeah, that just shows how
honestly,
bad
I want the Jets to score a touchdown just so they can cover. Like, did you see the spread on that game?
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
19 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Chiefs D and DFS this week, so that's good, but yeah, well, I mean, the Jets are the Jets as usual. So
practically a bye week for the Chiefs now.
Exactly. All right, Seahawks defensive key of the game. I mean, players of the game. Don't got much. Russell Wilson. I don't need to say more about that. Running backs. There's going to be a lot of committee play today. Expect to see the running backs play maybe a bigger role than you're expecting. I would not be surprised if they kind of surprise the Niners, use DJ Dallas in the big role or Travis Homer, and just play the running backs often. Entire defensive line going back to the pressure point. Got to produce the pressure. Games are won in the trenches. And then also the replacements for Shaq Griffin and Jamal Adams are going to be key today. So that's going to be Trey Flowers and Ryan Neal. So definitely those guys got to step it up. But other than that, man, I don't really got much for the Seahawks. There's not as much to say about this game as I usually would, other than both teams have to win this game.
For me, the keys of the game, the key players of the game for Seattle are obviously Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson, the running backs, and on defense, Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright have to really step up.
Absolutely.
Especially against a team that has so much misdirection and so much like crazy looks as the 49ers do. Mm-hmm. So they'll have to be on their toes.
Absolutely, man. And I think
practically just jumping around.
Yeah, I mean, linebackers are always just going to be all over the place. So, I mean, it's always like the linebackers always have to step it up. People don't understand how important the linebacker position is in football, and that always just kills me. It's like it's probably the most important. No, I would say D-line probably first. I mean, it kind of just goes back as usual, like D-line, then linebackers as a close second. So, your linebacker core is some of the most talented football players and some of the most crucial like positions in football. So, yeah. All right. You got anything else about key players?
Nope.
Perfect. All right. Let's go to the score prediction. I want to hear what you have to say first about the score prediction. Just by that reaction, you have the 49ers losing, right?
No, it's not that. I just don't know where I want to go with this. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Niners win this 34-31.
Close game, yeah.
And everybody in the states of California and Washington and Niners and Seahawks fans all over the world are probably rushing towards their nearest emergency room because I'm like 98% sure this game is gonna end up with like everybody having a fucking heart attack.
Yeah,
As
sure,
basically
man.
every Seattle San Francisco game ends up being.
Absolutely. I mean, this is going to be like the last two games were crazy. Last three games, let's say, because let's count 2018. This is going to be a close game. This is going to be a high scoring game. In the end, I do think Seattle's going to come on top, though. Russell Wilson will get that extra edge against those 49er cornerbacks with those vertical routes. I'm going to say my final score prediction is going to be 38-30 Seattle. So Seattle wins in a close one. Niners are going to be back at 500, and Seattle's going to stay undefeated, sadly. But
they're not undefeated. They lost last week.
Wow. Yeah. Dude, I am just so I don't know if you can tell. I'm just so tired right now. So
yeah, I get that. What is it right now? 11:45 there?
No, it's 12:45. What happened was I went for
right. You guys don't do the daylight savings thing.
Oh, no, we do.
Oh.
Do you not?
Oh wait, never mind.
We don't. No, we do daylight savings. It's
Okay.
12:45. What happened? I had to get up so early. I went to bed hella late last night. I had to get up so early for work. Went for a swim, which I just came back from. So it's already been a pretty long day for me. It's going to be a lot longer of a day if the Seahawks win this game. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I gotta say. So you got anything else before we end the stream?
We just gotta win.
Gotta win this game. Must win game. That simple, guys. So I hope you guys all enjoy the game. Whether you're a Niners fan, whether you're a Seahawks fan, whether you're just an NFL fan in general, this should be a fun game to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning into the stream. I'll be back for post game. Make sure to catch you guys there, and I hope to see you guys soon. And I will see you guys next time. Go Niners.